Yep. I mean, overall, we had a good year. You know, we made some, I think, some smart decisions at the beginning of the year, and Kelly has done a great job to pick up the ball and move it forward. Like with any new position, there's a learning curve. And, you know, unfortunately for her, she didn't get adequate training from her predecessor. And that's what we're looking at here. But like Craig said, he doesn't find anything nefarious, and I feel comfortable with that.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, thank you for your time.
Craig, thank you for coming down. Thanks for the good work this year, and thanks for the help with Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, and if there's anything more we owe you on that, we want to take care of it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you again. One try to skip over you with the glasses on. Thank you. Yeah. Next item number 4. We put my glasses on there. So, consider transferring money to pay the repairs for entry number 2.
I actually have Chief Coughlin here to talk to us about that.
So we're losing the transmission in engine 2, which is our mini pumper. It's a 2013 vehicle. The recommendation of Public Works, we brought it over to Rockies. They gave us an estimate of $6,000 to repair or rebuild, whatever it is that they have to do. And you know, it's an important piece for us, especially this time of year. We just had a storm that we would have used the truck pretty heavily, and we're not able to. So you know, it's the winter time camp road truck. It's the storm truck. It's a useful piece for us, so we really need to get that repair done. Obviously, the operating budgets don't necessarily factor in emergency repairs like this. With a $6,000 bill. So Gary and I thought it'd be prudent to come to the council and see if we could transfer some money for that repair.
He's got $8,000 in that fund, in that item line that's got to get him through the rest of the year. So I'm recommending that we transfer it out of fund equity so they can make that repair on that truck.
What is it for a truck?
It's a Ford F-550, 2013.
It's a diesel.
No, 2003. Sorry, the 2003 model, not 13. It's starting to get some age on it, but it's in good condition. And we just, you know, unfortunately having some transmission problems that gotta get rectified.
I make a motion we transfer that money and get it fixed as soon as we can.
Motion's made, seconded by David. All in favor?
Gentlemen, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one is vote to adopt and earn paid leave policy.
Okay, the policy is just a cookie cutter policy that everybody's using. And it's for the new law update that's taking place January 1st. What that does is that requires any employee with more than 10 employees that are working 120 days a year to accumulate 1 hour worth of time off for every 40 hours worked. So we're just adopting the policy. I've made the adjustments to our personnel policy, and if you've got any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. I've given you some supporting documents from the state and that's been coming through other town managers. So it's going to be a hassle with our part-time people. We have to figure out a way to keep track of that, and I think the firefighter per diems are the ones that's going to be the most complicated, but we'll figure that out.
I make a motion we adopt these changes to our earned leave policy.
Seconded by Bob. All in favor?
Thank you. I'm just going to send this around like you guys can just sign it. Jan, just hold on that.
Next item is to consider adopting changes to the personal policy reflecting the EPL policy.
Yeah, that's the same policy. All I did was update the personnel policy. It's on page actually 13, page 11 to 13, and it's just a condensed version of what you're signing there. It just brings the personnel policy up to speed.
6.
I make a motion we adopt those changes.
Second by David. Second by David, all in favor?
Thank you.
Next item is review 2020 to 2021 budget calendar discussion and how the process will work this year.
Okay, well, there's no question we're gonna have this remote. We're gonna have to do it. I don't feel comfortable bringing 25 people into a room. I don't think we've got a room big enough to safely distance everybody. The apparatus bay, given the time of year, the freezing weather, to move the equipment out, that's not gonna work for us. School's not letting people use their facilities, so I'm gonna recommend that we go remote on this process. The question is, how would you like to go remote? I mean, Bob made a point, he and I talked about it, I talked about it to Dave and maybe a couple of other people here. We could just follow this schedule and we can do the presentations remotely with our department heads at the same schedule. Or, one of the ideas that Harold Buzzell had, which I didn't think was a bad idea, but after talking to Bob, maybe it holds a little bit of an issue. The other option, or one of the other options, would be to hold 2 meetings, 2 remote meetings. First would be the introductory meeting that we do, so I can do the presentation, and then we could videotape all of our department heads, giving a presentation, sending them all out in one clump to all the budget advisory committees, all the counselors, let you review them for 2 to 3 weeks, develop questions, email the questions to me, and we can get the answers out to everybody. What that does is these videos would be 5 minutes in length, so it wouldn't be a big push for it. The last meeting would be discussion and voting. So what that does is it cuts your remote meetings down to 2, which a lot of people dislike those things. And I mean, so any version, any way you want to look at this. So I wanted to open up the discussion and see what your thoughts were on it, and to give me some guidance how you'd like to move forward with this.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I thought it was all fine, with the exception of the recording of the department heads. I thought we would do better and be more timely, and it would cause less confusion if the department heads sat in on the Zoom meeting the same as they now sit in on the regular meeting. To facilitate the give and take, questions and answers, and take away the necessity to watch the thing, submit questions in writing, and have those distributed and then brought back. And it just sounds like the cure is worse than the disease. The rest of the plan, I think, is fine. And that's just my opinion about the recording of the department heads.
John?
I guess I'd agree. 2 things it does. It keeps consistency with what we've done in the past. We're not trying something really new. We're just going to do it in a different format, which I think everybody has become comfortable with and understands. It also gives you for those who present the first meeting, they present, you ask some questions right then and there, you put that aside, you do the next group, etc. So it just seems to follow what we've done, and it seems to be, it'll be easier to keep track of what we're doing.
And I can't disagree with any of that.
Oh, no.
That's why I want you to make this decision over.
I think that would work fine, the way you'd have the department heads
Yep.
on screen telling us what they want for that year, and we could ask them questions right then, just like we always do, and then you could have another department head, you got 3 or 4 an evening here, and they don't have to be all bunched up. You could do it in here, where there's plenty of room.
So you're talking the whole budget committee, correct?
Yeah.
So you're talking, what, 12 plus?
12 plus 5 is 17, plus me is 18, Kelly's 19. So you're going to have about 20, 25, and if we do it remotely, we're going to have a crowd. I mean, which is a good thing. I mean, we should be encouraging people to participate in this thing. And,
Does everybody on the budget committee have access to Zoom?
well, we had that Zoom meeting last year, and we had everybody there. The only one we had was Mike Roswell, was doing it on his cell phone. and, but from his truck, but we can help him.
Well, that's because he was in his truck, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, everybody was there last year.
yeah.
We had some complications, I think, with Dawn, but we'll get that all tweaked out too.
It's hard to get signals all over the hill now.
No, it's a technological,
So what we'll do then is we'll follow this schedule. It'll just be a Zoom meeting. We'll put that together. Thank you.
Council guidance, upcoming budget is more.
Okay. Have you had a chance to go over the paperwork that I've sent you? With the Northeast CPI, the recommendation of a new COLA, and the pay increases that I'm proposing for this year. The other thing that I'm proposing is adding 2 positions to the town. One would be replaced back in 2017. We had 3 full-time employees up there. Jim left. We brought on a 24-hour position, but with the added MSW coming into the transfer station and everything else, it's just more than what 2 full-time people and 3 part-timers can handle. The other issue is vacation time. We're having a real issue with getting these people out of there during the summer months when everybody wants to take vacation, so I'm making a recommendation that we bring staffing back at the transfer station where it was in 2017. Population is also increasing in this town, and when you have an increase in population, you have an increase in workload for all the employees. The other recommendation I'm making is last year when we hired a new assessor, we had 2 full-time positions up there, 2 40-hour positions. Personally, I didn't feel as though we needed to have 2 40-hour positions, so we pulled 1 complete position out of there. And what that allowed me to do was to observe what was happening. And without a doubt, she needs to have a part-timer up there. We don't need to have a full-time position, but we do need to have a part-time position. That coupled with the fact that I am pushing to turn our town office, with the exception of my position, into 4 10-hour shifts. What that does is that offers an extended service for our public. And as I said in the email, our hours from 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 at night coincides with most people who work. So for them to get the time to come in to do business at the town office, they either have to take time off or they have to find a day off. This extends the service for our public by opening earlier and opening late or closing later, or one end or the other, whichever one we decide to do. We're in a very competitive environment with employees. This offers a 4-day work week for our staff, 3 days off. So what that does is that offers quality work life, and it offers quality of home life. It supports employee retention, and it also supports employee attraction, because we're dealing with younger people now coming on board, and younger people have different needs than we do. So I think that, we might not be able to financially afford to pay some of these people the same money that they're making in the private sector, but we can offer a good work environment, and that's what I'm shooting for. I mean, we've lost a lot of employees over the last 3 years, and more than half of them have left us to go to better jobs and better paying jobs. So we need to get smarter. Police departments, when I first came on at the Oakland Police Department, we were working 5/8s, and horrible schedule, because you're working night, never get any time off. We ended up playing with 4 and 10 schedule that the emergency rooms use, and 8 and 12. And it includes, people love it. You can't take it away from them. You'll find the same thing with the other employees. So I am making a recommendation that we hire 2 new staff members. The other thing that I'm looking at is what's attracting people into these towns now is Main State retirement. and Dave can speak to that because he's got it down in the gut. We don't offer that. And there's a big push for us, with the police department. They want to see Main State Retirement over there, but unfortunately, there's a big contribution in Townsend. And currently, the retirement program that we have is called ICMA, and the contribution rate from the town is 6.5%. I'm proposing that we increase that to 7.5%. And what that does is it gives us within shooting distance to be able to offer Main State Retirement without costing our taxpayers a big chunk all of a sudden. And, I don't think we're going to find that people are going to jump on the Main State Retirement in large numbers because the employee's share of that is a lot. I mean, Main State Retirement, some of the programs, the town contributes 10%, the employer has to contribute 9%, and there's all kinds of different variances of that. So the program that we offer, the employee only has to contribute 1.5%, which is very little. So I'm looking for that, and the other thing I'm looking for is the HRA contribution, the town share. I'm looking to increase that by $1,000 a year per employee, and that's another benefit. So all of this stuff packaged together, we're knocking the ball out of the park financially in this town. And and we are currently among some of the lowest paid employees in the region, and we have the least beneficial benefits. So trying to bring this thing up to speed. This has been a process that I've been using or doing since my first year here, starting $1 an hour for a past past finance director. And I've been kind of moving this along, and then we figured out how to pay for this stuff without increasing people's property tax. So that's my recommendation, and I hope that the council will support me building a budget around this and move it forward.
There is the